Hey, what's up, guys? I am excited today. I am just overly excited to share with you what I'm going to share with you today because this is where 99% of agents, not only agents, this is business owners, this is life in general. This is where 99% of people in general get it wrong and get stuck, right? And today I want to help you unlock this problem, and I want to help you determine, right? This is the theme of the show today. I want to help you determine what that exact next step is for you to be able to scale your business, because that's the problem. We want to scale our business, but we're just stuck right here and we can't seem to get to the next level. And to be honest with you, this is actually psychological, but normally I'm on here talking about conversion and property and like markets and how to get listings and strategies against new construction and property owners and things like that. But today I want to get a little psychological with you to help you determine what the exact next step needs to be in your specific part of your journey, because we're all on different parts of our journey. Some of you guys are just starting out. Some of you guys are in the building stages of your business. Some people are, almost to the point where you don't have to prospect anymore because you've built the brand and you've got so many past clients, referrals coming in. However, that's a real dangerous place to be as well, because you plateau, right? Today I want to talk about accomplishing the impossible and what that next step is when it comes to scaling your business, the right next step. The problem is most agents are trying to do too many things, and so they can't focus on what the exact right step needs to be. But furthermore, they pick the wrong step to focus on. So I want to help you guys out with this. And just to take a step back, last week I went to the Alex Hormozi 2-day business scaling workshop. So what I'm sharing with you guys today is a little bit of what I learned there. It made me look in the mirror, made me reflect on my own business, my own life, where I've been. And I gotta say, I've been a little too comfortable. And one thing that stood out was, okay, and this goes right along with what Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about in his book, 10X is easier than 2X, Your Future Self Now, Gap in the Gain. And he just came out with a new book that's coming out Friday. It's called The Science of Scaling Your Business. And he just did an amazing podcast. This is a brilliant podcast with Ed Milet. I actually put it in the show notes. So if you go in the show notes after this, or whenever you're at the gym or whatever, I want you guys to watch that. It's absolutely brilliant, but it made me take a step back, because one thing, I don't know that they said this, but this is something that I thought of in terms of my own business. When something was said at the workshop, and it goes something like this: if I didn't, at the end of this year, if I didn't double my business, okay, then I would lose everything. Okay. Maybe even die. Let's just say, like, if I don't double my business, then I'm going to perish. What would you do today? What would the action steps be today if you had to double? Let's even take it a step further. What if you had to 5x your business this year, or it's all over? What if you're in a position where you have to? And see, I haven't been in a position where I have to. I've been comfortable. I've gotten to a certain place and I'm like, oh, I'm good. I have a great quality of life. I don't need money. Okay. So, I'm kind of good right here. I'm still pushing. I'm still working hard. I'm still working 8 hours a day. I'm still, grinding, but whatever about like growing the business, doubling the business, 10xing the business, whatever, don't need it. So whatever. I've been in that mindset for a couple of years, and going to the workshop really made me open my eyes up to the fact that, wait a minute, okay, no, I'm grinding anyway. There is a next step that I could take that will double my business if I focused on just that. And that's the problem, is we're focusing on too many things. I want to get into this. If you have a chance to go to the Alex Hormozi workshop at acquisition.com in Vegas, highly recommend. it's business 101 around how they value, how they look at businesses, all the metrics. Oh man. I could do like I could do hours and hours and hours of content of what I learned. It's simply incredible. And it all interconnects. It all fits together in terms of like what Benjamin Hardy talks about in terms of creating goals. The goal is not meant to hit. The goal, the purpose of the goal is to establish what your pathway is to the goal. So for example, if you have a goal, if you're at $100,000 and you want to get to $200,000 a year, okay, like the next year, number one, that's thinking linear, not geometric. If you think in that term, then the pathway to get from 100 to 200, you don't really do much different than what you're doing right this second. Okay, nothing really changes in what you're doing. However, if you're making 100 and you want to go to 1,000,000, okay, now that seems impossible. That seems impossible, right? You're making 100,000 and you want to go to 1,000,000 the next year. But the problem is that if you don't establish that goal, not to hit the goal, establish that goal to determine, okay, but what if I had to hit $1,000,000 next year? What would my next steps, what would the plan look like? And let me tell you something, the plan to get to $1,000,000 from 100,000 to 1,000,000 the very next year looks completely different than the plan going from 100,000 to 200,000. Two completely different pathways. And the problem is that since we're inexperienced in business, we create these, what did he call them? These false realities, these false pathways, we make up these things that we have to do when in fact, and then we use those to justify our path. Okay. Like, oh, well, you got to go from 100 to 200 and then you go to 400 and, and then kind of stair step up. Yeah. Okay. Because that's how you're thinking about it. You plan accordingly. And that's kind of what happens versus if you actually planned out to go 10X, it would be a completely different goal. I want to get into this before I get in too much into the weeds here, because this is so important and why I'm so excited to share this with you today. I'm not going to sell you anything today. I'm not going to send you to my thing or, come to, this or that or buy the book or nothing like that. I just want to simply share with you a methodology, a principle, a pathway to help you understand where that key constraint is in your business that you can unlock. And it's exactly what we need to be thinking about. I created some slides here. All right, so let's dive into it. The fatal flaw keeping real estate agents stuck at 6 deals per year while others close 60 plus annually. Okay, so basically we are, as real estate agents, okay, you are the CEO of your company. You're the CEO, okay? So why you're stuck in mediocrity, why agents are stuck at just 6 deals a year. One critical factor separates the average from the elites. I'm talking about the 1% of 1%. If you want to be in the top 1%, what I'm sharing with you today is the answer. And what you do is you take what I'm sharing with you today and you do it over and over and over again. I'm in the middle of doing this in my own business right now. I realized where the problem is, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to double, triple, quadruple up this year. I made a decision. Okay, if I had to quadruple up this year, what would I do today? What's the one thing that's the lever that I can pull that would unlock tripling up this year if I had to? Today, we're going to talk about that. So I want you to just think about this for a second. You are the CEO. As real estate agents, we are the CEO of our business. If something goes right or wrong, it's our responsibility. So for example, there's a lot of successful agents out there. If you're not succeeding, that's on you. That's not the market. That's not competition. That's not, the new rules. That's not, Sitzer Burnett or private listings or NAR, or that's none of the above. There are agents crushing it right now. And if you're not, then that's on you. And so what we have to do is we have to take a step back, number one, and take accountability, right? Don't blame anything else. It's not the market. Okay. And I'm gonna give you one, I'm gonna drop another one on you. It's not your past. Your past and your future have something to do with your goals. And your future is 100 times, as Dr. Benjamin Hardy talked about this on Ed Milet's podcast. Your future has 100x more weight than your past, but we're letting our past dictate our present that is literally taking us to our future. Full accountability, no blame game, no excuses. But I'm going to tell you what great CEOs do. Okay. And this is where it gets real. Great CEOs, we're CEOs in our business. Okay. And the greatest CEOs on the planet, this is what they do differently. They identify the right constraint, the correct problem in their business, the roadblock, the bottleneck in their business. Like, for example, I'll give you a couple. Like, if you're scared to make calls, right? If you wake up today and your key constraint in your business holding you back from scaling to the next level is that you're scared to make calls, every single drop of energy and time that you spend every single day needs to be focused on that one thing, conquering your fear and anxiety of making calls. So you can get past that constraint, get to where you're crushing the phone, whatever that may mean to you, calling Zillow leads, calling Facebook leads, cold calling open house leads, whatever. And moving on to the next, like crushing that, conquering that, and then finding the next key constraint, key being the key word. And Alex said it so beautifully. He illustrated it so beautifully last week. So there's 4 ways that business people take on challenges. Okay, they fix the wrong problem the wrong way, the wrong problem the right way, the right problem the wrong way, or the right problem the right way. There's 4 different ways that business owners handle problems. They either identify the wrong problem and fix it the wrong or right way, or they identify the right problem and sometimes they fix the right problem the wrong way. What we want to do is we want to fix the right problem the right way. And this is what great CEOs do. And what they do is this: they find that key constraint in their business, the bottleneck in your business, and then they allocate resources. Okay, they allocate resources and focus only on that key constraint. They direct most resources to that key constraint until it's fixed. And then what do? They find the next key constraint. They find the next biggest problem in the business and they focus on just that. The problem is we're doing too many things, too many lead sources, too many lead gen activities, too many social media hacks, too many nurturing. We have to simplify the process, A. And B, we have to focus on just a few things. Example, when I was coming up and then the building stages of my business, I tested everything. And I'll give you guys a timeline in a minute, like what you should do over the next 90 days. But I tested out a couple things and I realized, okay, phone calls is my thing. Geo leads is my thing. Okay, so I focused on only geo leads, one lead source. I did phone calls, geo leads. I did postcards to the geo leads, and I did weekly email. I had 3 things in my business. I focused on only those 3 things, and I built $1 million a year business as a single agent. What I did, I didn't know all this stuff that I'm teaching you. I'm learning all this now with you, right? I'm growing as a person. We're all growing together. But when I look back at my career, I did this to a certain extent. Now, I was still a little too spread out, even with that. And certainly over the last couple of years, as I've been focused on just building my coaching business, I've certainly been too spread out with different things. So I'm getting very singularly focused on the one thing that could double, triple my business. Okay. So this is what great CEOs do. I want you guys to understand what great CEOs do. And I want you to become a great CEO in your business. Okay, which means you find that problem, you identify the right problem, we allocate resources to to fix that problem the right way. And then we move on to the next problem that's holding our business up from scaling. This is what we want. We want scalability in our business. Okay. Why we struggle to do this? Because we have a distraction epidemic. This is the greatest time in history to build a business. It's the easiest time in history to build a business. There's never, and honestly, with the TikTokification of social media, where it's more interest media than social media, and you can literally have 0 followers and get 1 million views or 10,000 views or 50,000 views on a video, it's insane. On every single platform, you can be unknown, start a profile from scratch, and literally get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of views with 0 followers. Followers don't matter anymore. That's what's so incredible about the current landscape. You add in AI to that, and where we are right this second, there's never been, and like, to take it a step further, the data, like, all these companies are after data. Apple spends billions of dollars. Facebook spends billions of dollars. Zillow spends all these companies spend billions of dollars on data. Why? Because it's customer data, right? And so they take the customer data and they use that data to market and to figure out what the key constraints are with customers, like what problem can they solve for customers that they can, create a product for, et cetera, et cetera. And so data is it. Like, you've got to have data, but you don't just have the data and sit on the data. You use the data to build your business. And in today's world, data is literally at our fingertips. You've got social media, of course, but more so for real estate agents, RedX. You can literally get anybody's information, like any property owner that you want, you can run ads to them on RedX, on social media. You can call them, email them, text them. You have the data of, like, for a penny a piece. You got all the data that you need. This is the easiest time. I could only wish that I had RedX and social media when I was coming up. I ain't even going to talk about it, because what it would look like if I had all the tools that you guys have in the palm of your hand when I was coming up. It'd be wild. But we struggle because, number one, there is this unprecedented market opportunity, but there's more distraction than ever. Social media rabbit hole, shiny object syndrome, conflicting guru advice. You guys know as well as I do, every coach is trying to sell you this different thing and this idea, and their thing is this. And it's like, man, it doesn't matter what, like, strategy or coach that you decide to, like, go with. The problem is that you got too many coaches. You're listening to too many people, and they're all teaching it a little differently, have a different angle, different spin, and now you're confused on what direction to go. Pick one and go. Every single strategy out there, even the ones that I somewhat disagree with, are $1 million a year, multi-million dollar a year plans. There's agents making $1 million a year on every single kind of lead gen market, business model for agent strategy that you can think of, that you've seen. It all works. Nothing doesn't work. You've just got to have the discipline to pick one. Okay. So this is the flaw. Okay. You got a goal. I want to sell 60 a year. Maybe you want to sell 100 or 200 a year, whatever. Right. But the flaw is too many strategies, attempting 47 different things simultaneously. And so now we've become a master of nothing. We're stuck in mediocrity because if you're closing 6 deals a year, right? And you're running Facebook ads, you're doing open houses, you're calling for sell by owners, you've got Zillow leads coming in. You're all over the place. You only have 24 hours in a day. Think about if you went all in on just one of those. I know agents that literally make $1 million a year. All they do is open houses. I know these agents. I know them. I know agents who make $1 million a year on Zillow leads. I know them. I know. And by the way, these agents that are making 7 figures in these different lead gen activities, that's the only lead gen activity they do. They don't do anything else. They went all in. They looked at it, they tested different lead gen activities, and they said, you know what? Here's my path. It's the same thing with me, with what I'm doing and what I'm doing in my real estate investing career, etc. I know my path. Like, I'm not doing wholesaling. I'm not doing sub two. I'm not doing fix and flips. Like, I know what my path is, and I'm okay. Here's the problem. Agents, the reason why they do so many things, the reason why agents start doing so many things is because they're scared to leave money on the table for the things they're not doing. So it's like you're doing open houses, and like you start doing well with that because you're using it to call property owners around the open house before you go. You're picking up listings, you're doing open houses, like you're building a great name. People see you out there, you're crushing it, everything's going good, but you're like, I'm losing money because I'm not doing Facebook ads and I'm not doing Zillow leads. And I don't want to lose all the money that I could be making in all these other avenues. So I got to do everything. No. Here's where the magic happens. When you become disciplined enough to understand that sacrificing the money that you might have made on these other avenues is what's going to 10x your revenue because you went all in on this one thing, that's the secret. And this is something that everyone has to learn. Absolutely. So, and that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this right now for you, so that you can get where I am with this whole thing and understand it, because I've got complete clarity. I know what my next move is to double, triple my business. Okay. So the question is, let me bring this down. Let's see let me bring this over so you can see. There we go. So the question becomes, what's your key constraint? And I was on I have listing mastery coaching, and we have a coaching call every Monday for 2 hours. And I was on my coaching call this week, and I asked this question, and most of the answers were like very generic, like time management and consistency. And I was like, no. I'm not talking about like the generic, like one word. I'm saying, like, what is your specific key constraint, right? Like our listings, do you have 20 listings? I know an agent like this. They have 20 listings and they can't, they're just sitting on the market. So they're getting frustrated. The sellers are getting frustrated. Like, okay, that's the key constraint, not selling your listings. Like, tell me, like, give me something specific. And one of the agents was like, I need to hire an assistant. Okay. Tell me the different tasks you need your assistant to kind of take over that you can delegate that would, double, triple your business up. And she started going off and rattling off all these things. And then I was like, well, how long have you been doing all these things yourself? And she's like, I don't know, for about a year or two. And I'm like, oh my gosh, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. Okay. In that example right there, this is what I want you guys to think about. This is how serious this is. The moment that you realize what the key constraint is, you stop doing everything. You don't make another phone call. You don't make one more phone call. You don't do one more social media post. You don't do nothing. You put all of your energy into finding a great assistant. Now, how do you find a great assistant? Going off subject for a second. You interview 20 of them via Zoom, in person, 20. And then you find, like, people are scared to hire people because they feel like they're going to find somebody that isn't good, that they're scared to hand over stuff to, that they don't really like them, the personality doesn't jive. Okay, let me tell you something. See, this is another reason why right now is one of the greatest moments ever to build a business. It's so easy to find people, and not only find people, but find great people. And you can find them on social media. You interview 20 people and you do 15-minute interviews. The first interview is just to see if you like the person. Like, when they show up on the Zoom or in person, like, how do they make you feel in the first few seconds? Do you feel comfortable? Do they have a warm smile? What's their tone of voice, their body language, their mannerisms? Like, do you feel like you connect with this person? I did this. I needed a sales guy for my coaching business, and I put on social media. I put in my story. This is how powerful. I put it on social media, put in my Instagram story for literally 10 minutes, and I had 100 responses. I had to take it down. I didn't understand the demand for work, that's out there right now for people that want roles like you want to hire for. It's crazy. And so I did 20 interviews, and like there was one that was like, wow, like this is it, like I am jiving with this person. I feel comfortable. I feel good. And when you find those people and you can put them in different roles in your business that you need, all of a sudden your business explodes. Okay. So making key hires. But I said you should not make another call until you've done 20 interviews with people, because that's the key constraint that's been holding you back for 2 years. You could have doubled your business 2 years ago, but we stay stuck. This is the point I'm trying to make. We stay stuck because we're not identifying your key constraint, and then we're not focusing our resources like great CEOs do to fix that key constraint. So what's holding your business back? I want this show is set up because I want you to think deeply about your business. You can put this in the comments if you want. You can write this down. You can start thinking about this. What's holding your business back? What's the key thing holding your business back? Is it lead gen? Is it scared to make calls? Is it you need an assistant? Is it listings sitting on the market? What is it? Is it your follow-up? Is it your blah? Is it your boo? Is it your whatever? Your number one action. So this is interesting because I asked on the coaching call, what's your key constraint? And I got some pretty specific answers and I got some generic answers. And what I'm going to go back and ask, what I realized another question, a follow-up question I should have asked is, okay, now what is the one thing, okay, the one thing, the one activity, the one lever that you can pull that could double or triple your business? Okay, we identify the problem. And so now we've got, okay, what's the one thing? Okay, so Chase, you don't have a big following on social media. Everybody has a Facebook with, I don't know, with hundreds of friends or maybe even thousands of friends. That's where you need to start. Everybody has that. Social media isn't just like people that didn't know you, who know you now, who follow you, and you get tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers. Everybody has a Facebook with profile with a bunch of friends and people they've known their whole life. That's the best place, because you know what? When you find somebody that wants to work with you, that already understands your culture to a certain point, oh, that's like that's a double whammy. Like that's a slam dunk. Okay. So Lysandra says not enough follow-up. Okay, Lysandra, you should focus every single minute on fixing the problem of your follow-up. Okay, not enough follow-up. Okay, why not enough follow-up? What do we need to do to have enough follow-up? Like what do you need to put in place? Let's fix that immediately, so that we can move on to the next key constraint, which probably is not enough leads coming in, and then we'll start working on that key constraint. See, this is how you level up. This is the process that you level up with listings sitting on the market, right? Listings sitting on the market. Okay, what do we do if listings are sitting on the market? Well, we think about listings sitting on the market. Okay, that's a problem. That's a bottleneck. We're getting the listings. We don't have any problem getting the listings. That's not the key constraint. The key constraint is we get them and then they're just sitting there. Okay, so why are they sitting there? Well, the market shifted and now the comps aren't even correct. And, you know, the prices keep going down, down, down. And our sellers are frustrated. They're not willing to reduce the price. So what can we do to fix this problem, right? So number one, as we realize that our sellers are upset, the first thing we need to do is on any future listing appointments, we need to learn from this experience. We need to say, okay, we need to set better expectations about what's going to happen. And we need to ask better questions, right? We need to ask different questions. So we need to think to ourselves, okay, what are the questions that we need to ask our sellers moving forward as we're going through the listing presentation, listing appointment, listing process? What are the questions we need to start asking them to determine exactly where they stand on this? Like what, like, okay, we're going to put it at this price. Here's like comps. Here's what I'm seeing with other listings. What are you going to do if this doesn't sell in 30 days? That might be a good question. I don't know. You need to think about what are the questions? What are the new questions I'm going to ask my sellers moving forward at listing appointments? How can I set better expectations so that we don't run into this moving forward where they expect certain things to happen. But then C, we're going to go to all of our existing listings, and we're going to have a sit down, and we're going to reestablish motivation, because now, they had a game plan going into the listing, but now that where we are now, and we realize that it hasn't sold, well, I'm sure their game plan has changed to a certain extent. So then we have to think about, okay, what's their new game? Like in the beginning, we want to know why they're selling. We want to go 5 to 10 questions deep. But then now it's not selling. So, okay, now why do you want to sell? Like, do you still want to sell? Like, what is the motivation level now? What are you going to do? You have to start completely over with those people in terms of the process you can understand and create a new game plan moving forward. So there's some things that you can put together in your business that will alleviate that problem. Just giving you guys some examples. Here's the reality for agents. Oh, so hold on 1 second. Let me fix this. Okay. Here's the reality for agents. Come on. There we go. Here's the reality for agents. Okay. You're just one person, not a company with departments. Maybe you have a team. Maybe you have a couple agents. Maybe you have an assistant. Okay, whatever. But you're not a big company with hundreds of employees. So guess what? You have limited resources, less time, less money, less energy than most businesses. This is something I want you to really let it digest and understand, because the way I see it, real estate agents, more than any other business, have to protect their resources more than anyone. More than anyone. Because you have such limited resources, right? So like big companies, they've got like hundreds of employees. So they have people, they have capital, right? They have a reserve. Maybe they raise money. Maybe they, have a lot of profit. They've got a reserve of money that they can use to spend on different things, right? A lot of these companies have like unlimited funds to be able to like do all these different things. And they have people. So they have people and they have capital, but you don't. Real estate agents don't have money and capital. You may have a little bit of capital. You may have a little bit of money, but you don't have a lot. You've got very limited. So you have to protect your limited resources as much as possible. So when a CEO says, okay, here's the key constraint of the business, right? It's conversion. So the bottleneck is sales. The conversion rate's low. We're going to tackle this. We're going to spend time, money, and energy to fix this because we're getting enough leads, but we're not converting them. The servicing and the fulfillment of the thing is great, but we're not converting enough leads. That's the key constraint. We're going to spend time, money, and energy there. So they get 3 people off the team to go and start to do research and get surveys and do all these things. And they're deploying time, money, and energy into that thing. Okay, that's what they do. You don't have that. Okay, and they could actually tackle, that on a bigger scale. They could send 10 people over there or whatever. You don't have this. So you have to really be careful with where you spend your resources more than any other business. This is so key. This is why a lot of agents get stuck where they are, because they don't realize how limited their resources are, because they're not very experienced in business. So they don't realize that they even have very limited resources. So they just kind of do everything and try to like do all this stuff. No. Focus. Okay. And that's what happens when you scatter your focus, you have business death. For solo agents, it's fatal. Okay, so this is just an example. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not even sharing. Let's see. Let me get this back up here for you guys. All right. Yeah, last slide. Bam, business death. This is just an example. Okay, like you may build your business, and you may build your business around buyers. That's totally fine. I'm not against that at all. You may have figured it out. Like you have 20 buyer agents. Like I know an agent. They're on YouTube. They crush YouTube. They get 99% of their leads are buyers, right? They do YouTube. They get 99% of their business as buyers, and they have 20 buyer agents. Now the team leader doesn't show property, right? He doesn't. He works, but like he's not like showing property. Okay, so he put together a system, and that's his thing. Like that was his path. He decided this is my thing. YouTube, buyer agents, refer the buyers out. Have a great team. Let them do a thing. Awesome. Okay. I'm just using this as an example of something that you can think about in your own business when it comes to having an efficient business, and things that you could look at in your business to pinpoint as, okay, this is the key constraint. All right. When you have a buyer, okay, if you're a solo agent like I was, that's a very inefficient thing, because I'm going to show 10 houses, maybe won't do a deal. Okay. Months to decide, right? Constant hand holding, linear growth. I can only do one at a time. I'm not selling one to many. I'm selling one to one, right? I'm in front of them. I'm out there showing all the listings. Very inefficient model. Versus if I'm working with sellers primarily, now I have leverage. One listing is guaranteed leverage. All the other agents are out there trying to sell. I get a listing, and now I have thousands of agents trying to sell my listing. Versus if I have a buyer, I'm literally just trying to sell the buyer. It's just, and this is what's so interesting about real estate. Okay. Let me take a step back. So I went on a podcast last week, and this guy's a video guy, and he said, oh, I was telling like so-and-so, like real estate agent, and this is a video guy. He doesn't know anything about real estate, mind you. He was like, he was telling a real estate agent, like, you got to be on YouTube. You got to be on YouTube. And I was like, yeah, but here's the thing though. And here's what most people don't like 99% of people don't understand about real estate is that there are two types of clients. There's two types of customers. In just about every other business, there's one type of client, right? Like if you're like for Apple, like you got people that are buying phones, like, insurance, they're buying insurance. They may buy like different types of insurance, whatever, anything. Like boats, you're like buying boats, right? But with real estate, you've got buyers and you've got sellers, and both customers are there. It's almost a completely different process. Like it's kind of the same. Like you meet them, have a consultation, put a contract in place, and then execute to close on a house, either buying or selling. So there's some similarities, but it's different, right? It's two different types, and it's absolutely different when it comes to leverage, when it comes to efficiency. And I was like, this is the thing. When I was selling, 80% of my business was listings, because I focused 100% on property owners, right? And I wanted buyers. I wanted them, but I focused all my prospecting efforts on property owners. So I got 20% buyers, and they were the greatest buyers ever. They weren't internet leads. They were real buyers that sold something and were buying something, whatever. And I would knock off at 5 o'clock every day, right? I would have 30 listings. I would knock off at 5 o'clock every day. I would go have dinner with my family. And at 6:30, I'm eating while 6 of my listings are being shown by agents who are on YouTube. And I was like, so here's the question for you. Would you rather be the agent at home eating dinner while 6 of your properties are being shown by agents who are on YouTube? Or would you rather be on YouTube and either be showing the properties or have to have a team of agents to go show the properties? Which business model would you like to have? Right. And so, and that's a choice you make. Like, there's nothing wrong with either choice. I'm just saying it is a choice, and you do get to make that choice in this business. And that, and that's what was very interesting to me is like most people just don't even realize that there is a difference. Like, oh no, every business should be on social media. Yes, you should be. You should do social media every single day. Every single day. I post 200 plus times on social media every week. 200 plus is my goal every week. 30 posts a day on social media. That's my volume. Alex Hormozi, Gary V, these guys are doing 350 to 450 posts a week. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let me go to 200 and then so social media, super important. Like okay. So I started out by saying I focused on phone calls, geo leads only, postcards, and emails. In today's world, I would do phone calls, social media. I wouldn't do postcards. I would do social media. The time I spent on postcards, I would implore that into social media and emails. Yeah, I would be crushing social media if I were an agent in this world. Absolutely 100%. Okay. So this is just one thing to kind of think about, is like just the differences in like working with a buyer versus working with a seller. Okay. How do we get leads? Okay. Is our lead gen focused on bringing buyers in or sellers in? Okay. That's a question. Buyer's focus, this is the math right here. Buyer focus, one agent plus one buyer equals one deal. Seller focus, one listing equals one seller deal plus 3 to 5 buyer leads, right? And the seller deal you did was very passive, by the way. You're not showing properties, and you're going to get buyer leads out of that and more listings, okay? This is a geometric growth versus linear growth, okay? Versus linear growth. So you want to protect your resources, right? Your time. Every hour wasted on the wrong thing is gone forever. I'm not saying don't risk time testing things. I'm saying once you realize you need an assistant, okay, don't spend 2 more years without an assistant. Okay, that's hours wasted doing admin work where you should have just had 20 interviews over the course of, 3 or 4 or 5 days, picked the right person, brought them in, got them trained up, and then doubled your business, right? And so it's like you're not wasting time testing. That's fine to test, but once you realize the results of the test, now every hour spent is gone forever. Okay? Focus, ruthless prioritization is your competitive edge. Money, ineffective marketing dollars never return. Like, for example, if you do Zillow leads and like some people build massive businesses on Zillow leads, awesome. But if you do Zillow leads and it's inefficient for you specifically because it's mostly buyers and you don't want to build your business around buyers, plus they're way too expensive, but you keep buying the Zillow leads, now we're doing ineffective marketing, right? Ineffective marketing dollars is not the same as testing the market dollars. You want to test to figure out what works and what doesn't work, but once you figure it out, let's execute and let's put the business model in place. Energy, burn out from all the scattered focus. It kills all your momentum. We got to focus. Okay, companies can afford to test multiple strategies. You can't. Yeah, you can test some, but not like a company with hundreds of employees. You've got to be super selective. So identify your key constraint. Is it lead gen? Are you not getting enough prospects? Is it conversion? Are you not closing enough appointments? You're getting enough listing appointments, but you're not closing enough listing appointments. And sometimes that's confusing because you think you're getting enough listing appointments. Your conversion rate's actually pretty good. Like I was talking to an agent on the coaching call this week, and she was like, I'm getting 3 listing appointments a week, and I'm closing one of them. She's like, I want to increase my conversion. I'm like, but 33% is pretty good. Like, I would rather see you set 6 listing appointments and pick up 2 of those than to try to figure out how to convert the other 2 you're getting. I think it's a lot easier to set 3 more listing appointments and then keep the same conversion rate, and then optimize your conversion rate and maybe get 3, maybe move it up to 50%. Maybe move it up to 50%, and now you're getting 3 listings. But like, she thought it was conversion, but in my opinion, it is kind of conversion, but not yet. Like, we need more listing appointments, right? Like, let's keep the 33%. Let's get more listing appointments, and then let's work on the conversion. It's like the key constraint was listing appointments, not conversion. The next key constraint after that would be conversion. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, it's like identifying the right thing. So this is a prime example. She was identifying the wrong key constraint. We got to find the right key constraint and fix it the right way. Is your key constraint follow-up? Are you losing leads after the initial follow-up? Is it closing? Right? Deals fall through at the very end, or listings that don't, sell, or like you're getting the lead and they say they want to do something and then they ghost you. Where is it? Where are you? Where is the system failing at for you? Okay. Most agents are just not getting enough listings is the key constraint. Okay. So here's the 60 deal agent secret. Okay. They master one lead source. Focus until completely dominated before adding another. I'm not saying don't add another. I'm saying focus on one until you're crushing it and then add another. Agents go out, and they're like, they start making calls and like calling this type of lead gen source, and then they like add another one and they haven't even done any deals yet. No, that's like when I started social media. Everybody thinks, because they asked me about social media, and everybody thinks that I just started posting on all platforms day one. Not true. I focused on Facebook for 6 months only. Then I started an Instagram account, right? And then I focused on it for 6 months. Then I started a YouTube account. Then I focused on it for 6 months. So I stair-stepped it. Like, I got it good, and then I added something once I got it where it needed to be, right? When I was dominating and everything was going great, then I added something. Prioritize listings, right? 80% of your resources should be towards seller acquisition. And you want that 80-20 business. That's the most optimized business. And I think also for teams, I think teams should also be at an 80-20. I'd love to see teams get into an 80% listing close rate, in terms of like 80% of their closings are listings versus buyers. And this is what you really got to get right here. Say no. Ruthlessly eliminate everything that isn't your priority. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you need an assistant, don't even make another call. And also think about the sacrifice that you're making of the money that you could have made on all these other lead gen activities or these other revenue avenues. Think about the fact we're sacrificing potential money there to go all in on this thing that's going to 10x our business. You got to say no. And that's the hardest part, because sometimes you have to say no to things that's been working for you up to this point. And this is probably the key reason why people get stuck. They take an activity, it gets them to a certain point, but then it's not going to get them any further, and they can't quit doing the thing because it got them where they are. They're scared if they quit doing it, they'll lose everything they worked for. And so they stay right where they are out of fear of losing everything. You've got to take risks and realize what the next move is and go all in with it, even if that means letting go of something that used to work. What got you to 100,000 is not going to get you to 1 million. What got you to 1 million is not going to get you to 3 million, 5 million, 10 million. It's not. You got to let go. Real world example here. Focus. Want to master expired listings only. I don't have enough expireds in my market. Go back 10 years worth. Consistency. 5 listings a month. Result. 60 deals a year. 1 constraint, 1 solution, massive results. Just an example. So here's your 90-day focus plan. Today, identify your number 1 key constraint and also what that key action is that's going to double, triple your business. If you're under 20 deals a year, it's probably because you're focused on buyers, or you're not getting enough leads. One of the two. Okay, that's today. Week 1, allocate 80% of your resources, because we have limited resources. As a real estate agent, we're not a big company. So allocate 80% of your resources to your constraints. Say no to everything else. Okay. Weeks 2 through 12, ignore distractions. Stop chasing buyers. And when I say chasing buyers, I'm not saying don't represent buyers. I never turned down a single buyer my entire career. I never referred one out. I took every single buyer that came through my door, through my business. I didn't refer anybody out. I never fired a client. Okay. I'm not saying don't work with buyers. I'm saying stop doing things that attract buyers, that are focused on buyers. Focus on securing property owners who buy and sell. Super efficient. Measure results weekly and adjust as needed. Protect your resources like your business depends on it. Why? Because it does depend on it. Like, every single person on this call can double, triple your business this year over the next 12 months. You can even triple up what you did last year, like now, between now and the end of the year. Here's a question for you. If you had to double your business from what you did from January to now for the rest of the year, because we're like towards the end of July now. So like we're what, 2 months in? We're a month into the second half of the year. So we have a disadvantage there time wise. If you had to, or you were going to lose everything, what would be the action steps? Okay. Is it a lead gen issue? Is it a conversion issue? And what is it really? Because most agents say, here's my problem. But when I'm coaching agents and I'm talking to an agent about their problem, I'm evaluating their business, I'm identifying where the key problems are in their business. They're like, here's my problem. And then I ask a couple questions. They're like, no, that's not your problem. This is your problem over here. What is the problem in your business? And how can we solve that problem in order to double up? Like if you actually start thinking about this instead of thinking so linear about, well, we made 100 last year, so we're going to make 150 this year. There's no reason why we shouldn't make 200 this year. No, you should be thinking, what's the path to make 500 this year? Because your actions will be completely different under that scenario. Stop being scattered. Scattered approach, 47 different strategies, inefficient buyer focus, constant distraction, stuck at 6 deals a year. Strategic approach, one constraint at a time, listing focus leverage, ruthless prioritization, path to 60 plus deals a year. So this is your homework. This is your homework. What's your constraint? What's the one thing? The biggest bottleneck in your business right now? Your solution. What's the one action that would double your business if you focused on it? Your commitment. Are you ready to protect your resources and focus for the next 90 days? That's the real question. Are you ready to actually take action? Are you ready to actually do something about the fact that you're stuck? Because most people aren't. Most agents aren't willing to do anything. They're just like, oh, I'm stuck. And then what are we going to do differently to get unstuck? Oh, I'm just stuck. Quit saying, oh, I'm just stuck. And let's identify what the problem is, because it's real simple. It's so simple. Simplicity scales and complexity fails. It's super simple. There is a key constraint in your business that's holding you back. What is it? Identify it, tackle it, move on to the next one. And when you start to look at your business like this, and you stop focusing on so many things and you focus on the one thing that's actually holding you back, you fix that, and then we go to the next one, everything becomes way easier. And you start to actually scale your business. Guys, I'm going to be on Instagram Live answering questions in an hour. So 2:00 Eastern, I'm going to be on my Instagram Live and do a Q&A for whatever, 30, 45 minutes or whatever. I'll be on Instagram doing that. And hey, I hope today's show helped you think deeper about your business, what you should be doing, what next steps could be for you to actually double, triple your business, because that's what I want for you. I want you to scale your business. I want you to message me and say, Ricky, I did what you said, and now I'm getting 10 listings a month, and I'm selling all this property, and everything's going great. Those are the messages that I love to get from you. That's what keeps me going, by the way. That's what keeps me doing these videos and keeps me pushing, is just messages from you guys. So love you so much. God bless. I'll see some of you guys on Instagram here in a little while. And until the next video, keep selling.